Hey everyone, welcome to my 737 simulator. I'm Captain Matt Riggins, and as you can tell by the sign here, this is a progress update on my Boeing 737 NG 800 flight simulator. We'll get into the cockpit in just a moment, but I wanted to start out with this monitor here that's doing a slideshow of photos and video of the simulator. And this is the iteration of the simulator over 10 years ago when I had 3 LCD screens as my forward view. Obviously now I'm running 3 projectors and a 270-degree field of view. So let's get the camera turned around here and we'll hop into the cockpit and show you its current status. Alright, here's the current status of the simulator. First I'll give you a quick wrap around here so you can see. That's the 270-degree field of view. The overhead is the original overhead from 10 years ago. This is a flying gravity overhead. I've still got to get everything up and running again. I've got all the liners installed from Flight Deck Solutions. The shell is also FDS. The only one I don't have in yet is this lower front V panel, and that's because I'm dealing with the wiring for the overhead at the moment. The MIP obviously is in with the CDU bay, as well as the MCP and the EFISes. Everything there is working off of Sim Avionics. I've got to get a new captain's yoke because this is actually a first officer's yoke over here. And when I get the new captain's yoke, I'll move the current one here over to here. I've got to do the pedals as well. I need another CDU as well. The throttle quadrant is working fine. The pedestal is powered by Open Cockpits, and I've got all the other panels coming soon. If you're wondering what this box here is, this is the FSX Dual, and what this allows me to do is to actually have real aviation headsets, and it provides 2 functionality purposes. The first being that it allows the pilot and the co-pilot to have a direct intercom with each other. The second thing is that it appears to Windows, because it's a USB device, as a second sound card, which allows you to have external sounds for the aircraft, as you can hear through an external audio system. And then you can have all your radios or any other audio that you can change the audio source to. You can change it to this guy right here. So we've got our headsets hanging up on each side, and the pilot and the co-pilot can talk to each other, as well as push-to-talk functionality and deal with all the communications and radios that are necessary during flight. As far as the seats go, these are real seats. These are actually out of a 757, but they work great, and they're on J-rails from Simujabs, and they're reproduction J-rails, but they work perfectly. They lock in no problem, and it's really nice and easy to be able to get into the cockpit and then go ahead and bring those seats up to the yoke. Very comfortable. Obviously I've got to get new pedals, and the reason why there's a lot of light coming in there right now is because on the front of the shell there's a couple covers that block off all the wiring and everything. Those are currently open because obviously I'm still working on the sim. The throttle quadrant is my original quadrant from Simulation or Sim Revolution, something to that nature. Those guys built that thing 10 years ago, and it's still in great shape and it works perfectly. This is a non-motorized unit, so the trim wheels do not spin, but I just didn't want to deal with that extra complication. As far as CDU goes, that's an FDS CDU on the captain side. I'm running a 10.4-inch LCD monitor there, and that computer is my Sim Avionics server, MCP, and overhead server. And I'm currently got the server software up and running there just so I can, you know, start to get a test flight going and make sure everything is working. The EFISes and the MCP are FDS. I'm running 3 screens, obviously, in the MIP, and that's pretty much standard for any cockpit. Let's see, I've got the EFB2 running over here, and that's currently showing me on the Active 07 left at KLAX. That is a Windows 10 Home tablet, runs an actual version of Windows there. So let's flip around here. Oh, and that yoke is actually, that's an Ace yoke from, again, 10 years ago. So as far as things go, we got the, obviously the liners up here in the cockpit. Since the speakers themselves aren't really used for anything, I've actually got fans behind them. And this was a panel I added here to the overhead 10 years ago. And what this panel allows me to do is obviously turn off the lighting in the cockpit, but it also allows me to turn the fans on and off. So I had the captain's fan running there, and it's just blowing some air out of there, and it's really actually kind of nice. As far as air is also concerned, in the aft cockpit, you can see that there's a vent up there, and I'll show you that in a moment, but I've got a portable AC here in the garage, and that has some tubing that actually comes out and pipes in air conditioning into the cockpit, so it's very comfortable in here. It's probably about 62 degrees in here right now with everything running for at least an hour now. So the only other thing I can show you here in the cockpit, I think at the moment, would be the map light. And I 3D printed this map light in resin and painted it and assembled. What I did was I bought a flashlight that's both a dual white and red flashlight, and then put the components into the map light. So this kind of nice lens here was actually originally part of the flashlight. And the other nice thing is that the switch here will give me a nice white light, and if I turn it off and turn it back on, then I'll get a red light as well, which is very cool. Oh, let's see the handles. So again, that piece that I don't have installed yet here drops down pretty far, so I had to actually have 2 pieces of tubing here for the handles, but those are bolted in through 3 sheets of this shell, and they actually, it comes out the other end there. These aren't going anywhere. These are really sturdy and work really well for bringing the seat up. So the only other thing, as far as the headsets go, is down on the side. This is where I've got them set, and I don't think you're going to be able to see that. There's just not enough light. Even if I turn on the map, oh, maybe I'll turn the map light, you'll be able to see. There you go. So that's the mic and speaker, and these are the 55 and the 68 connectors, the Real Aviation connectors. These are Real Aviation headsets. And then down here, I have a USB hub, multi-port. This is 7-port. One wire comes up and keeps the tablet charged there, as you can see. And then the others are just for any devices if I want to have them in the cockpit, like the phone. I've got dome lights on both first officer and captain side. And as you can see, it lights up the simulator very nicely, even though it's very dark in here usually. As far as circuit breakers go, I've actually got Peters laminated and vinyl adhesive circuit breaker panels coming. Those are printouts, but I'm going to actually 3D print all of the circuit breakers in not only the correct size, but also the correct amperage. And then, because Peter's already done the work on the computer side, those are all lined up very nicely, I will simply just glue them right on top of his printout for each panel. So those are on the way, and will be here probably next week. So let me go ahead and get closer here, and I'll show you what's going on with the aft cockpit. Okay, so looking at the aft cockpit here, this is all constructed out of wood. And as I was mentioning earlier, there's the vent for the air conditioning. And you can hear we've got some air coming out there right now. As you can see, there's just a box and there's a hose, and that hose just goes over to the portable air conditioning, and works great. As far as this space goes here, I just simply decided to make it storage. So first thing is I've got a light up here that's I can disconnect because it's simply magnetic. And so if I need it in the sim, I've got a portable light. So this is just storage. As you can tell, there's just some extra pieces and stuff. This is an FMC that I originally printed and was going to use. And then I've got some wires and stuff there for the microphones and things like that. This is the Raspberry Pi that runs the screen on the backside. And essentially, I can just put anything here. It's very nice to be able to store all the extra software and CDs and all that kind of stuff that you have, whatever extra stuff, just to have some storage space. And that's the nice thing about the sim. I don't have to have actual circuit breaker things here and everything. I can actually have some storage space. Let's talk about the jump seat. So originally I thought about putting in a real jump seat, and then I just decided, you know what, I've got some leftover wood. I can just build my own. So there's a handle here, and the jump seat is hinged. And so what you do is you pull it down, and it comes down. Right now it's just wood, but I'm gonna paint it and put some padding on there soon. And the way it's held up is, I'm gonna put it back here. I've got a 2x4 that connects in, and that 2x4 is sitting down here. So the way it works is that this 2x4 sits right about here, and then it uses Velcro, and it Velcros in right on there. So pretty much the only person that would ever use the jump seat would be me. Oh yeah, let's talk about the flooring real quick. So this is not that diamond plate. This is vinyl, and it's much cheaper and much easier to work with, and worked out really, really well. On this side, we got some more storage over here, and then finally on this side, on the captain's side, if we pull this open here a little bit, and I'll turn the light on here. This is a hanging storage area, so I can have my uniforms and different things in here. And this closes, has the door on it, just to keep all of that really nice. All right, well that just about wraps up the progress update video for the simulator. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. I'm Captain Matt Riggins, wishing all of you blue skies.